My best 5 years. I gave to Ethan, just as I thought he was about to propose. He held me in the night, his voice hoarse, saying, "That woman was introduced by my family. She's obedient and good, not wild like you." When appeared with his good girl, I put on bold red makeup and hooked his brother's neck. After broke up with me, he sent a message in the group chat, 7 o'clock, our usual spot. I looked at the hickey he'd left on my body last night, reflected in the mirror, and found it laughable. I applied heavy, yet not gaudy, makeup. For years, following Ethan, he'd told me he preferred innocent girls. I'd put away my favorite red dresses, only wearing plain attire. Now that he was getting married, I wouldn't dress to his liking anymore. When I arrived at the entrance of a private room, Ethan was introducing a petite girl. I pushed open the door to the private room. All eyes in the room turned to me. They didn't recognize me. Some even asked if I was in the wrong room. "It's Autumn," I said softly, walking in with graceful steps. A searing gaze fell upon me, and I knew it was Ethan's. "Autumn, who the hell are you trying to seduce dressed like that?" Ethan snarled through gritted teeth. I ignored him, instead hooking my arm around Liam's neck, who was standing on the other side. "Everyone, allow me to introduce my new partner." I turned to meet Liam's surprised eyes, a slight smile playing on my lips. "Are you free tonight?" Liam paused for a moment, then his hand squeezed my waist. "I am." Whispers broke out in the private room. I used to be Ethan's woman. 5 years, and things had changed so quickly. "Autumn, you're asking for trouble. You're just seamlessly moving on." I learned from Ethan. For the first time tonight, I met Ethan's gaze, steady and cold. Ethan's eyes reddened at my direct retort. I was the first to look away, asking Liam in a playful tone, "Do you like a wilder woman?" Liam played along perfectly. He squeezed me hard. "If it's you, I'll like any kind of woman." Liam's eyes sparked, his tone flirtatious. He was a good actor. Ethan stepped forward, ready to hit Liam, cursing, "Liam, how dare you flirt with my woman? The one you just introduced is your woman. Don't be blind and mistake me for someone else." Liam was no pushover. His ability to retort to Ethan was brilliant. I chuckled, leading him out of the private room. Ethan chased after us, grabbing me. His voice changed slightly. "Autumn, let's talk." I forcefully pulled my hand away from Ethan, my gaze and tone as cold as ice. "There's nothing to talk about." I glanced at Chloe, a very young girl, and chuckled softly. So this was Ethan's type. "He's yours now. Keep an eye on him." Chloe probably hadn't seen a scene like this before. Her face flushed, and she looked close to tears. When tried to grab my hand again, I forcefully pulled away, my voice rising. "Ethan, if you're a man, take some responsibility. Chloe is right here. He was the one who broke up with me. What game was he playing now?" Ethan probably hadn't expected my temper to be so fiery. While he was stunned, Liam and I left. Just as we reached the door, Liam pecked my cheek with a clear, loud smack. Everyone present heard it. "Liam, you bastard!" Ethan yelled from behind, frantically raising a fist at Liam. Liam put his arm around my waist and we left. Once out of the private room, I let out a long breath and quickly pulled my hand away. "Sorry." "So, you're just going to use me and discard me? Huh?" Liam stared at me with intense eyes, looking both amused and annoyed. I clasped my hands together to apologize to him, but he pulled me into his arms. "Autumn, didn't you know I've liked you for 6 years?" I looked up at Liam's bright eyes. His gaze didn't seem fake. I was momentarily at a loss for words. "No, Liam, I've always." "No rush. Let's just go out first," Liam said, leaning in to kiss me again, before my hand could even touch him. Ethan, who had caught up, pulled me away. Then, the two of them started fighting. Everyone from the private room chased after us. Ethan's girlfriend was scared by the scene and started crying. "Autumn, please think of something. What should we do?" I scoffed, stepping forward and grabbing Ethan's collar. "Ethan, that's enough. You can't handle losing." Ethan's face completely darkened when he saw me defending Liam. "Autumn, you're something else." Ethan gritted his teeth, grabbed Chloe with one hand, and left. Liam got up, holding my hand, his whole body leaning on me. "It hurts." I drove Liam back. When we reached his house, he clung to me, refusing to get out of the car. "Either you stay, or I'm coming to your place," Liam said, clinging to me like a koala. I sighed, How did I ever get involved with this troublemaker? For the past few years, I'd lived in Ethan's apartment, so I definitely couldn't take him back there. I went upstairs with him, and as soon as we entered, he pinned me against the door. I struggled hard, evading his kiss. Liam. Just as we were grappling, a loud pounding echoed from outside the door. It was Ethan. Open up! Autumn. You've really become bold. Ethan's voice was hoarse. I could imagine his face and neck were flushed red. Liam. You bastard. Don't you know Autumn is my woman? Ethan shouted while pounding on the door, fearing we'd disturb the neighbors. I urged Liam to open it. Liam gave my neck a fierce kiss, then opened the door. Ethan entered with bloodshot eyes. Liam instantly pulled me into his arms, looking very possessive. Ethan, are you out of your mind? Are you playing multiple women? Ethan's gaze remained fixed on me. I avoided his eyes, leaning only on Liam. Autumn, I know you're angry. Come back with me. As spoke, he reached for my hand. I slapped him hard across the face. There's no going back. Ethan, you're engaged, and I don't want to be the other woman. I saw Chloe, still teary-eyed, following behind Ethan. Ethan was stunned by my slap. For 5 years, I had always indulged him. I had never once lost my temper with him. Then nodded. Fine. We're breaking up. I'll compensate you for your 5 years. Name your price. I'm not going to owe you anything. 1 million. I answered directly, startling both Liam and Ethan. What? Having second thoughts? Then let's pretend I never said it. I pulled Liam, preparing to close the door. Ethan suddenly pulled out his phone and transferred 1 million to my debit card. Autumn, you're something else. I'm telling you, Liam isn't a good guy. He's even worse than I am. Ethan probably thought this would make me waver, but I just smiled and replied, I don't mind. After saying that, I leaned in and kissed Liam on the lips. Ethan finally stormed out, not even minding his girlfriend. After they left, I released Liam, sliding to the floor, and whispered, I'm sorry. If you changed those 3 words, I'd rather hear them. Liam sat beside me, pulled me into his arms, and forced me to look him in the eye. I'll only allow you to cry for him tonight. At words, my tears burst forth like a dam. In my sophomore year, my alcoholic father came to the university to demand money from me. When I refused, he beat me severely. It was Ethan who stepped in and saved me. That day, he told me, from now on, stay with me. I'll protect you. I believed him and obeyed his every word from then on. A week after we met, he took me to his apartment. When he lifted my clothes, I trembled all over. He kissed my earlobe, his voice hoarse. Autumn, you need to be a little more passionate, a little wilder. Though shy, I always listened to him. I fully surrendered myself to him, and from then on, I became his woman. Ethan was a very generous man. He was never stingy with me. He would introduce me to all his friends, who would then treat me like his serious girlfriend. He built me a fortress of happiness. There was just one thing, in those 5 years with him, he never let me meet his family. I had my suspicions, but I always told myself that as long as Ethan was good to me, that was enough. I once told him I wanted to get married before I turned 25. I thought he would propose to me, but what I got instead was him accepting a family-arranged engagement. That night, Liam didn't badger me anymore. He made a bowl of soup for me and watched me eat it. I sat on his balcony, from where I could see the city lights outside. Liam stayed beside me, not saying a word. After sunrise, I prepared to go to Ethan's apartment to get my things back. Liam still followed me, standing outside Ethan's apartment. I had the keys, but I didn't use them. I knocked, and just when I thought Ethan wasn't home, he slowly opened the door. Ethan had dark circles under his eyes. It looked like he hadn't slept well either. When he saw me, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he reached out to pull me closer. As I dodged, Liam stepped in front of me. I'm here for my things, I said, stating my purpose in a few words. I entered the apartment, leaving the 2 men confronting each other outside. I had packed my luggage right after Ethan said we were breaking up. I had left them on the balcony. After receiving Ethan's message about getting together, my first reaction was that I had to go. I got myself ready and went to the meetup. I hadn't expected Ethan to bring his new partner so quickly. When I heard him have others call Chloe his serious girlfriend, my head heated up, and I decisively showed up, grabbing Liam. Everything that followed was one thing leading to another. I felt a bit sorry for Liam. I still had my own mess to clean up. Liam had followed me, and I couldn't stop him. I was afraid they would start fighting again, so I grabbed my luggage, wanting to leave quickly. I was also afraid Chloe might suddenly come out of the bedroom, making things awkward. Fortunately, the two of them didn't come to blows again, just glaring at each other, neither willing to back down. As I quickly tried to leave, looking down, Ethan grabbed me. Autumn, enough with the act. I looked up, interrupting him. What? Is trying to get that $1 million back? Ethan's face turned grim, his eyebrows even twitching. That was his angry look. We're square. From now on, we go our separate ways. He hadn't spoken yet, and I delivered another harsh line, but Tan still wouldn't let go. Liam tried to step in to help, but I didn't want him involved, so I put out a hand to stop him. Ethan, I gave you 5 years, and you got your money's worth. You're getting married now, and I'm not getting any younger. You didn't do anything wrong. Let's just part ways amicably. After saying that, I tried to pry Ethan's hand open, but his grip was strong, and I couldn't. Ethan, you're making this pointless. He still didn't let go. I suddenly smiled and then released my hand. Fine, then I'm giving these things to you. With that, I pulled my hand free and turned to walk out. Autumn, what if I said I regret it, that I don't want to follow my family's arrangements anymore, and we could start over? Ethan suddenly blurted out. I scoffed, then turned to face him. Ethan, did you always think I'd be waiting for you in the same spot? You never even truly knew how you hurt me. I'm a person too. I have my pride. Yes, for 5 years. You were indeed good to me. Luxury items, bags, I had everything, but you never knew what I truly wanted. Did you? Upon hearing this, Ethan immediately tried to grab my hand, asking urgently, then what do you want? Seeing his anxious expression, I suddenly didn't want to say anything. Ethan, since you've already said you'd give me up, it means you don't care about me anymore. There's no point in dragging this out. Let's just go our separate ways and find our own peace. I had originally intended to get my things back and completely break ties with Ethan, but since he was acting like this, those things weren't worth bothering with. As I entered the elevator, Ethan suddenly ran out and shouted at me. Autumn, do you think you can just be with Liam like this? You two will never be together. You don't know him at all. Do you know his family? He'll abandon you two someday. And you know your mom. The moment the elevator doors closed, I saw Ethan's twisted face. I didn't take his words seriously then, but I never imagined that one day his curse would come true. After leaving Ethan's place, Liam opened the car door, waiting for me to get in. I ignored him, walking past him. I wouldn't go back with Liam, but I didn't know where I could go either. Just a few steps later, everything went dark. My legs gave out, and I collapsed by the roadside. I dreaming of past events. When I was 10, my mother couldn't stand my alcoholic father anymore and left. From then on, I lived with my drunk father. I lived in constant trepidation. I was afraid of being woken up in the middle of the night by the sound of breaking bottles. I was afraid my dad would suddenly rush to my bedside, grab my hair, and yell, "You're as worthless as your mother." I was afraid that every time I walked in, I'd find shattered glass everywhere. I desperately wanted to escape that home with my father, but I didn't know where to run. I finally finished elementary school, and in middle school, I lived in the dorms. Sometimes, I wouldn't even go home on weekends. I worked part-time to earn money. Back then, I had only one thought, to get away from my dad. In my final year of middle school, my mother came back to see me once. When she first left, I hated her for abandoning me, but later, after being beaten by my dad, I began to understand my mother. That time my mom came back, I treated her to a meal, and she was tearful throughout. Before she left, she gave me a debit card. She said, "Autumn, this is money I earned. Keep it for your schooling later." After left, I hid the debit card. Actually, after I started middle school, my dad didn't want me to continue my education, but I insisted, because I knew it was my only way to escape him. He couldn't win against me, so he issued a harsh warning, "Don't go to school after middle school. It's a waste of money." I didn't listen to him. My grades in middle school were exceptionally good. While he was looking forward to me finishing middle school and earning money for him, I boarded the bus for high school. For 3 years of high school, I locked myself in the university, studying frantically. Finally, I got into a university far from my hometown with excellent grades. I thought I could finally get away from my alcoholic father. My freshman year was relatively peaceful. I made new friends, and no one knew about my past. But in my sophomore year, my dad suddenly found me. He knew my mom had given me money, and he came after me, demanding it. Of course, I wouldn't give it to him, so he kept following me and hitting me. It wasn't until Ethan happened upon us that his intervention made me feel warm. He helped me get rid of my dad's harassment. Normally, a person who had been especially independent since childhood, wouldn't easily rely on others again, but was different. He made me feel warm. From him, I even felt a long-lost sense of home. He took me to his apartment, and I decorated it to feel like a home. Perhaps because I never had a complete family growing up, I longed for a home of my own. Ethan would always stand silently to the side as I decorated his apartment. He would say, "We'll have a big house someday, and you can decorate it however you like." I took his words to heart and fantasized about building a warm home with him. Throughout my years with Ethan, he never made any demands of me. When I wanted to work, he said he would support me. When I said I liked painting, he'd say he loved the meals I cooked. So, I focused more on learning how to cook. Ethan had a very high libido. Sometimes he'd pick me up and carry me passionately around the room. At first, I was shy, but he would say, "Autumn, I love your wild side." So, I truly transformed into the person he liked. But even though I became the person he liked, why did his preferences change again? I cried in my dream, weeping bitterly. It wasn't until I heard someone calling my name that I slowly opened my eyes. "Autumn, don't cry. It was just a dream." It was Liam calling my name. When I woke up, I found myself in the hospital, with Liam looking at me, his face filled with anxiety. I had grieved myself sick and fainted from overwhelming sorrow. "Autumn, I told you I wouldn't let you cry for him ever again." Liam gently wiped away my tears. I turned my face away. I always felt a sense of guilt towards Liam. "Liam, I used you. I know a simple I'm sorry isn't enough to make up for it." Liam gently turned my face back, making me look him in the eye. His gaze was firm. "I don't want your apology, Autumn. Listen to me, I liked you 6 years ago, even before Ethan did." I frowned slightly, looking at Liam. He had said something similar last time, but I hadn't paid it any mind. His voice was soft. "From that sophomore year, when you bumped into me while carrying your books, your face flushed, and you said I'm sorry, that's when I liked you." I tried hard to recall his words, but I couldn't remember. "Autumn, I won't force you. I'll give you time. Just rest well for now." It was passionate like fire. Then Liam was gentle like water. He never brought up the past again, nor did he force me to do anything. He simply stayed with me. In the afternoon, he brought me an easel. I was surprised he knew I liked painting. Liam seemed to have read my thoughts. He set up the easel for me, then took out the palette, and smiled at me. "That time you bumped into me, you were carrying art books. Later, I saw you engrossed in art books at the library, and I even saw you painting on the campus field." I had indeed done the things Liam mentioned, but I had no recollection of him at all. "Thank you, but I'm sorry." "It's okay. We have plenty of time ahead of us," Liam said with a smile. "Just paint whatever you want." When he handed me the paintbrushes, his smile was beautiful. Liam and I could be considered good friends. He was quite close with Ethan. It seemed Liam was always present whenever Ethan arranged to hang out. In the past, Liam didn't like to stand out much. In my impression, he was a very well-behaved person. It was only when I pulled him in front of me that I realized he dared to confront Ethan. Holding the paintbrushes again, I felt both a sense of unfamiliarity and deep emotion. After my mother left, I developed a love for painting. I would paint her likeness from my imagination. Although my father tore them up every time, I still painted. Painting became my obsession. But the cost of art lessons was too high for me. I didn't have the money to learn. It was only after I went to university that I started reading art books, always becoming engrossed. When I started painting, I met Ethan. He didn't like my painting, nor did he like my set-up easel and seemingly messy palette. Later, between painting and being with him, I chose Ethan. From now on, only do what you want to do, and don't worry about other people's feelings, Liam whispered to me. A gust of wind blew into the hospital room, carrying the scent of soap from Liam's body. Unlike perfume, it gave me a strong sense of peace. That day, I drew Liam setting up the easel for me in the hospital room. After being discharged, I rented a rental apartment and planned to find a job to support myself. During my time with Ethan, I would design illustrations whenever I had free time, and on a whim, I signed up for a design competition. Fortunately, my illustration won an award. Just as I was looking for a job, a design company happened to invite me to join them. I thought it was truly good luck. On my second day of work, I unexpectedly ran into Ethan downstairs at the company. He stood at the entrance, holding a large bouquet of red roses, attracting many colleagues' attention. Autumn, I know you're not with Liam yet. I used to restrict your freedom. You want to work now, and I know you like this company. I've already spoken to the boss. No one will dare bully you anymore. He stepped forward to hug me, but I sidestepped, and the roses fell to the ground, scattering petals everywhere. Ethan, I can't accept your condescending kindness. I took a tissue from my bag and wiped my hands. Also, I got into this company because my illustration was shortlisted for the annual talent, not because of you. Ethan's expression froze. He bit his lower lip, a sense of frustration washing over him, unable to unleash the anger he felt. Autumn, I've already said I regret it. I've also made things clear with my family. I want to be with you. What else do you want me to do? He finally erupted, no longer pretending. I looked at Ethan's flushed face and suddenly realized how foolish I had been before. I had never seen Ethan like this before. Perhaps it was because I had always been so compliant with him, never giving him a chance to lose his temper. You don't have to do anything except stay away from me. My tone was sharp and decisive. As I was about to leave, he stopped me again. Liam arrived to pick me up. He parked his car, walked quickly, and grabbed Ethan by the collar. Ethan, can't you understand plain English? Autumn already said she's done with you. Why are you still bothering her? It was quitting time, and more people were gathering to watch. Ethan didn't back down. He pointed at Liam's nose and demanded, "Have you and Autumn been together this whole time? You bastard? You're making a fool out of me." With a thud, Liam's fist struck Ethan's face. I looked at Ethan with no expression, utterly disappointed in him. I knew Ethan was extremely possessive, and I usually wouldn't get too close to other men, but I never imagined that in his eyes I was like this. Now, I didn't want to talk to Ethan, nor did I want to curse him. "Liam, let's go." I pulled Liam away. Liam opened the car door for me and then quietly said to Ethan, "When her dad hit her back then, I was the one who called the police first. You just happened to pass by. The first time she cried and said she wanted to go home, I took her to the train station. You were out drinking with clients. You never truly understood her," Ethan retorted, unwilling to be outdone. "You understand her? Do you think she'd still be with you if she knew the truth?" Then closed the car door. Liam's expression wasn't very good after he got in the car. My mind was on their recent conversation. "You were there when my dad hit me back then?" The police did come that day and arrested my dad. After that, he never came looking for me at the university again. I had always thought Ethan was responsible. As for being taken home that time, I was already with Ethan. That happened because at a party, someone asked when I would meet Ethan's parents. When I mentioned it to him afterward, Ethan got angry and smashed a glass. I was upset and didn't know where to go. Liam coincidentally found me when I was feeling down. I knew there wasn't much in my hometown, but I still said I wanted to go back. So Liam bought a train ticket and took me. That time, I didn't see my dad, just wandered around the house. That was the longest time I had spent with Liam. Liam glanced at me, smiling awkwardly. "Just happened to be passing by. But you never mentioned any of this all these years." I only remembered Ethan saving me. "Don't worry about it," Liam said, then started the car. We didn't speak the rest of the way. I kept wondering if I hadn't seen Ethan as my savior back then, would the outcome for me, Ethan, and Liam have been different? At the time, I thought maybe it would have, but I soon learned that no matter who it was, the outcome would have been the same. At the end of the month, our mutual friend Jason organized a gathering, saying it's been a while. I knew Ethan had put him up to it. Liam, fearing I'd be uncomfortable, offered, "If you don't want to go, we don't have to. I'll stay home and watch movies with you." But I wanted to cut ties completely, so I changed into a simple off-white shirt and jeans and went, arm in arm with Liam. The private room fell silent, all eyes fixed on us. I was no longer the little shadow who followed Ethan around. Liam held my hand, giving me all the confidence I needed. Ethan sat at the head of the table, his glass more than half empty. His eyes lit up when he saw me, then dimmed again. He probably hadn't expected me not to wear the wild clothes he disliked, yet be more dazzling than ever. Autumn. A drink? Ethan came over, holding a glass, his hand trembling. Liam reached out to block him. She has a sensitive stomach. I'll drink for her. After downing a glass of whiskey, Liam's expression didn't change. Instead, he smiled and said, Ethan, from now on, I'll take all of Autumn's drinks for her. Someone at the table jeered. Ethan used to protect Autumn as if she were a treasure. Ethan gave a bitter smile. I lost my treasure. He looked at me. Autumn. I kept the apartment where we used to live. The pothose plant you bought, I water it every day. And it's still alive. My hand, which was reaching for fruit, paused. I had bought that pothose plant when I first moved in, and Ethan always called it an eyesore, almost throwing it out several times. I said indifferently, it's good that it's alive. Let water it for you from now on. Ethan's voice was bitter. Chloe left. She told me she'd never seen me look at her with eyes as bright as when I looked at you. He took out a photograph from his wallet, a picture of me taken 5 years ago under a cherry blossom tree. In it, I was wearing a white dress, smiling innocently. I've always carried it with me. Liam gently squeezed my palm. I looked up and smiled at him, then turned to Ethan. Keep the photo. Let it be a memento of the silly person I once was. With that, I pulled Liam up. We have other plans. We're leaving now. As we reached the door, I heard the sound of a glass shattering behind us. The following days seemed to return to calm. Ethan appeared less frequently. An unspoken ambiguity existed between Liam and me, which had changed since I learned he was the one who called the police when my dad hit me. Liam no longer flirted with me as before. He became somewhat calm. Outside of work, I focused on painting and creating illustrations. With the experience from my last award, illustrating came more naturally to me. I created an illustration titled Rebirth. Liam took one look and said it was beautiful. He helped me submit it to an illustration exhibition. When the exhibition notified us to come see it, I gave Liam a small smile. I hadn't realized this gentleman had, without my knowing, walked into my heart. When we went to see the exhibition, we ran into Ethan. He looked somewhat haggard, having lost a lot of weight. Liam was explaining my work Rebirth to the audience. This piece, Rebirth, is Autumn's masterpiece. The girl in the painting steps out of the shadows and into the sunlight, just like Autumn herself. He turned to look at me, his eyes overflowing with tenderness. I'm so glad I could be the sunshine by her side. I didn't realize that my own gaze at Liam was also filled with affection. Autumn, I know you didn't love Liam before, but now you do. Ethan suddenly appeared beside me. I quickly turned to look at him. You never looked at me with that kind of gaze. Autumn, did you ever truly love me? Ethan had a very wounded expression, which I found quite amusing. I didn't want to deal with him and turned to leave. But Ethan persisted. You think Liam is better than me? In reality, he's a coward. He liked you even before I did, but he was too afraid to say anything. I already knew all of this, so it didn't surprise me. I continued to walk, but Ethan grabbed me. You always thought your mom left because she couldn't stand your dad hitting her. In reality, your mom found a new lover, and that new lover is Liam's dad. Ethan's words made me freeze on the spot. I stared at him in disbelief. Then I looked at Liam. Not far away, Liam had also noticed the commotion on our side. Your mom is now Liam's stepmother. Do you think if Liam likes you, or if you've fallen for him, you two will have a good outcome? Would his dad and your mom agree to it? Ethan's words were like a heavy punch to my chest. It hurt deeply. After that visit during my middle school years, my mother never appeared again. I actually missed her terribly, but I had no way to contact her. She hadn't shown up, and I even wondered if something bad had happened to her. I never imagined we had been living in the same city all this time. So close, yet never meeting. Was it deliberate, or just how things were? Liam knew your identity all along. He was ashamed that he fell in love with his stepmother's daughter. He kept it hidden for years until you actively sought him out. Ethan grew more agitated with every word. His emotions seemed increasingly difficult to control lately. You two acted like a couple in front of me, but I saw through it all along. Liam is still a coward. He didn't dare. He only provoked you to spite me. Liam had already walked over, as finished his last sentence. Liam punched him hard. Ethan fell to the ground, his nose bleeding. Jason, who had come with him, ran over and grabbed Liam, who was still swinging his fists. Stop fighting. Ethan is sick. He has severe depression. He ran away from the hospital. Liam stopped. Jason stepped forward to help Ethan up. Ethan's mood was clearly not good. He stared fixedly at me. Autumn, I truly love you. I didn't mean to hurt you, and I didn't want to break up with you. You have to believe me. I looked at him, unsure if his remorse was genuine, but I was completely indifferent to him now. Regret isn't love, Ethan. What you thought was love for me was actually just possession. I looked at him calmly, articulating each word. We're leaving. We need to take him to the hospital. Jason helped Ethan away. Later, Jason sent me a text message explaining Ethan's situation. Ethan's family had gone bankrupt. His mother had left, and his father was broken, drinking every day. This was one of the reasons for Ethan's illness. On the way home, Liam and I remained silent. Ever since learning the truth, I thought my emotional journey might always be this rocky. It wasn't until we reached my doorstep that Liam finally spoke. I didn't mean to hide it from you. I heard your mom say she had abandoned you, and I was afraid you still hated her, so I didn't reveal my identity. Liam also said that he had indeed liked me first back then, but because of my mom's connection, he hadn't dared to say anything. Then, I ended up with Ethan. If you and Ethan had continued to be together, I would have stayed by your side as a friend. But that day, Ethan suddenly brought a woman, introducing her as his serious girlfriend, Chloe, and then you appeared at the door. Liam said that when I hooked my arm around his neck, he was scared, but he saw determination in my eyes, so he played along. And later, he couldn't help but kiss me. Your family doesn't know about our relationship, do they? I asked Liam. Liam paused, then nodded. I'll find time to tell them. No need to, I said with a smile. Anyway, we won't have a good outcome. I looked at Liam. Between him and me, just as Ethan had said, there wouldn't be a good outcome. Now, I believed it. I'm so close to my mom, yet she's never come to see me. I should have known better. She deliberately avoided seeing me. When she gave me money back then, she actually wanted to cut ties with me. To them, I'm an outsider. Why should I insist on appearing before them? Liam looked at me, a hint of disbelief in his eyes. He probably hadn't expected me to say something like that. As he stood there, stunned, I turned and left. Silently, I told myself, goodbye, Liam. Back in my rental apartment, I curled up by the door and sat there for a long time. Suddenly, I realized I had nowhere to go, no place to call my own. I wanted to leave this place, even though I didn't know where I'd go. But before I left, I still had one thing to take care of. I asked Jason for Ethan's hospital address. The next day, I went to the hospital. From the doorway, I saw Ethan sitting on his bed, looking out the window. He was rarely ever this quiet. Sitting there so peacefully actually suited him. I didn't go in. Before leaving, I paid half of the $1 million he'd given me towards his medical bills. I transferred the other half to Jason. After leaving the hospital, I resigned from my job. I didn't want to be here anymore. Coincidentally, right after I resigned, I received a call from my hometown. My father, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, had passed away. I was his only daughter, and at that moment, I realized the only family I had left was my alcoholic father, who used to hit me. And Liam's perspective, I loved a girl for 6 years, but I couldn't get close to her. She was my stepmother's daughter, and she also had a boyfriend. But tonight, she was different. Dressed in a red dress, she looked stunning and captivating. Just a moment before, her boyfriend had announced his new girlfriend. I clenched my fists, but she hooked her arm around my neck and asked if I wanted to go out. I knew she was using me, but it didn't matter. I was more than willing. I readily agreed. Ethan was furious. We got into a fight, and I blamed him for abandoning her. I took her away, and I couldn't help but kiss her. Once we were in the apartment, I almost lost control. She had left Ethan with absolute finality, but Ethan regretted it and wanted her back. She was exceptionally resolute, strong in front of Ethan, but then she turned and collapsed. I took her to the hospital. I brought her an easel, and I couldn't resist exposing Ethan's past. Years ago, when her father hit her, I called the police, and Ethan happened to show up. Later, she and Ethan got together. After she learned the truth, she changed somewhat. I saw her eyes shine when she looked at me. I submitted the paintings she had created to an art exhibition. Ethan rushed over and told her the truth. She wasn't overly emotional. It was as if she had already accepted everything. but she treated me the way she had treated Ethan. Watching her walk away, I knew it would be difficult for us to ever be together. She truly disappeared. Later, I learned from her aunt that her father had passed away. I bought a car ticket to her hometown. I wasn't hoping to see her, just to ease my mind. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.